Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Sussex County Commissioner meeting of April 27th, 2022 at 6 p.m. here at Sussex County Community College's Performing Arts Center in Newton, New Jersey. With that, Terry, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney?
Here.
Commissioner Fantasia?
Here.
Director Fasano?
Here.
Commissioner Yardley?
Here.
Item 3 on our agenda is our moment of silence and salute to the flag. We'll ask if you can please join us in rising for a moment of silence and then a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231, PL 1975 has been made by regular mail and email, such notice being submitted on January 5th, 2022, from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: the New Jersey Herald, the Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, and WNNJ Radio, and is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administrative Center for Public Announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. At this time, we'd like to remind you to please mute all electronic devices. Item 5 on our agenda is the approval of our agenda, and before I ask for a motion to do so, I do just have 2 quick changes. First, Resolution 13K will be tabled and deferred to our next meeting, pending further clarity and clarification. Also, we'll be amending our personnel agenda, title change, contract administrator, to be tabled pending further review and clarification. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Commissioner Fantasia moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Item 6 on our agenda is our proclamations, certificates, and presentations. We do have 2 tonight, and we'll start with May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We have accepting this Nick Kapertonakis from the Division of Community and Youth Services. I believe we also have Mary Jean Ellis from the Sussex County Mental Health Board, and Laura Gascione, maybe? Okay, we're going to have you come up and say that one more time. From the Substance Use Board, and we will have Commissioner Yardley be reading that proclamation.
Thank you, Anthony. Before I read this, just so the audience, little history. Sussex County has been very supportive of mental health awareness. There have been meetings where, at one meeting, members of the board were talking about family members that suffered from mental illness and how it affected their family and the individuals and the help that everyone needs for this illness. So I am proud tonight and glad to read this. Whereas mental health is an essential part of overall health and well-being, and whereas mental health is defined by the World Health Organization as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. And whereas mental illness is a leading cause of suffering and disability that is exacerbated by stigma and discrimination, whereas COVID-19 pandemic has led to an increase in anxiety and depression, substance abuse, trauma, grief, and loneliness, and whereas a large portion of individuals with mental illness have co-concurring substance use, as well as morbid health conditions and suffering health disparities that significantly shorten their lifespans and diminish their quality of life. And whereas The Sussex County Board of County Commissioners adopted and supports the campaign to Change Direction, which is a national model to reduce stigma, change culture of mental illness so that all in need receive the care and support they deserve. The campaign encourages inclusion of mental health into overall health, pledge to know 5 signs of emotional suffering, and support others to reach out for help when needed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that upon recommendation of the Sussex County Mental Health Board, the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners hereby officially designate May 2022 as Mental Health Month in Sussex County by the order of County Commissioners Anthony Fasano, Commissioner Director, Chris Carney, Deputy Commissioner, Herb Yardley, and Dawn Fantasia, Commissioners. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Commissioner Yardley. Nick, Mary Jean, Laura, would you like to add anything?
I'm Mary Jean Ellis, and I'm here to honored to accept the proclamation on behalf of the Mental Health Board and the whole mental health community. And we're really pleased that the commissioners are so supportive of our goals to make sure that everyone in Sussex County who needs mental health treatment will have access to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Laura Guancione. I'm honored to be able to be a part of this for the acceptance of the proclamation, as well as involved in the Mental Health Makata Board, in addition to the other boards that I'm on. I'm not sure a lot of people know how much work goes on behind the scenes. I work with a profound group of people who volunteer their time to help create opportunities where there may not be any, and for the individuals and people in our community, because often we know that New Jersey can kind of be the redheaded stepchild of the state. We don't always get the funding, but we are people helping people in this county. And mental health is profoundly just as important as our physical health and wellness. And I think that's something we oftentimes forget. And I'm really proud to be a part of this team and that it's acknowledged by the Commissioner Board.
Thank you.
I don't really have much else to add except for thank you to the commissioners, as well as to the Department of Health and Human Services, our Administrator Carol Navra and Christine Florio for allowing us to be able to continue the work that we do. So thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to recognize the work that you do. It's very much appreciated. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next proclamation is the Greater Newton Chamber of Commerce 80th anniversary. I believe we have Mel Dennison here. Mel? The president of the Greater Newton Chamber of Commerce, and reading this proclamation, we have Commissioner Fantasia.
Thank you. Whereas the Greater Newton Chamber of Commerce was organized January 19th, 1940 by Saul Steinweiss, a local pharmacist who was elected as the body's first president. Mr. Steinweiss initiated the resurrection of a civic organization whose mission would be to create a more prosperous condition for Newton. The Chamber was officially registered as a nonprofit corporation on March 25th, 1942. And whereas the Chamber held its first annual holiday parade in November 1940, a tradition which has continued ever since. Additional events and efforts have been organized over the years to promote the business interests of Newton and surrounding communities. These include, but are not limited to, signage welcoming visitors to Newton, beautification and decoration of the downtown area, and assisting the town government with public events such as the Newton Day Festival. The Chamber also provides scholarships to local students who have shown commitment to our community. And whereas the primary function of the Chamber remains in supporting local businesses, it works to establish new business, relocate existing businesses in the community, and assist its valued members with their specific needs. The Chamber hosts networking events to establish partnerships among its members and creates advertising opportunities to promote member business to the public. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners does hereby congratulate the Greater Newton Chamber of Commerce on this 80th anniversary. And be it further resolved that the Chamber continues to support its members, local government, and the public for another 80 years plus. By order of the Board of County Commissioners, Anthony Fasano, Commissioner Director, Chris Carney, Deputy Commissioner, and Commissioners Herb Yardley and Don Fantasia.
Thank you, Commissioner Fantasia. Mr. Dennison, is there anything you would like to add?
I'd just like to say thank you for the presentation. We're certainly glad to see it. It's great being here in the town of Newton with the county. You've been very supportive of us in supporting our events like Newton Day, as you mentioned, which is coming up in a couple weeks, or maybe 6 weeks. So we're looking forward to seeing a lot of the county commissioners and boards, different boards from the county at the event. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, and here's to another 80 years, okay?
Thank you.
With that, I'll need a motion to adopt the proclamations this evening. Do I have any motions?
So moved.
Commissioner Fantasia moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Next on our agenda, we have our annual presentation from the Lake Patkong Foundation with Marty Kane and Colleen Lyons giving us their update.
Good evening, folks. It's good to actually be back here again because our annual didn't quite get annual last year, but it's good to see you and good to be able to brief you a little bit on what's going on at Lake Patkong. And we appreciate the continued support that we get from the county commissioners and from Mr. Pop, who's always been helpful, and we will miss him, and we will look forward to meeting whoever comes after him. But thank you, Greg. All right. I think you know a little bit about us. We put some charts on the back if anybody from the audience would like to grab a package. With me tonight is Colleen Lyons, and she's from the Lake Patkong Commission. She's the governmental part of this operation. Sussex County, Morris County, and the 4 municipalities all appoint toward the Lake Patkong Commission, and they really should be the group in a perfect world that completely manages the lake. With me tonight also is Kyle Richter, who just about a year ago became our executive director over at the Lake Patkong Foundation. And we're the nonprofit group, that one that hopefully can be, the rah-rah and give a little advocacy and funding behind all the efforts that are needed at Lake Patkong. Together, we make a team with the 4 mayors, really, that surround the lake. And what we're just going to do is just run you through very quickly with a few things going on at Lake Patkong tonight. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Colleen to talk a little bit about one of the favorite things always is what's going on with the weeds at Lake Patkong.
So on Lake Patkong, just as some background, the commission funds up until very recently a weed harvesting program on Lake Patkong. So this year that responsibility is being transferred from the DEP back to the Lake Patkong Commission. So we're looking and targeting for a May start date on the lake. We've been working to transfer employees over from DEP, equipment, et cetera. So that's weed harvesting for this season. And then we're also continuing our harmful algal bloom efforts on the lake. In 2019, Lake Patkong was plagued with a lake-wide harmful algal bloom. So these HABs are still occurring on lakes throughout the United States. Numerous projects that have been implemented by the Commission and Foundation and the municipalities are improving conditions on the lake. We're seeing lower nutrient levels that typically would feed the blooms. So that's progress for us. And we know that if we do have a bloom this year, we have some treatments available. So, if something were to occur, we can treat the bloom, and that wasn't an option in 2019. So we do have that available as well. I'm turning this back over to Marty.
It was funny. When we started out, one of the things we found was the 4 municipalities around the lake, 3 in Morris, Jefferson, Mount Arlington, and Roxbury, plus Patkong on the Sussex side, they would talk about a lot of things, but the one thing they didn't talk regularly about was Lake Patkong. So one of the things that we've been very successful with in the last few years has been regularly quarterly meetings with the mayors, getting them all just to sit down and talk about lake issues. And it's expanded to the point where once a year now, we do a meeting with the NJDEP Commissioner, Sean Latourette, where we get the 4 mayors together with them. And it's also expanded to the fact that the last 3 years, the governor has come down to meet with the mayors also about Lake Patkong. So that's been successful, and we've taken the attitude that any elected official or anybody we can drag to Lake Patkong that's what we really want to do. Because when we got Senator Sweeney out a few years ago, he was just amazed at what Lake Patkong was, and we always figured that that's the best thing we can do is get someone who hasn't seen Lake Patkong before out on the lake to see it, and it kind of speaks for itself. We had a lot of success last year with, for the first time, bringing statewide funding for lakes. $10 million was in the fiscal year 22 budget of the state, and in fact, the RFP is on the street right now. You may have heard it from some of your other local lakes. They're all kind of getting their applications together. They're due on May 28th. So that's a really big deal because $10 million spread around the lakes in New Jersey is a big deal. That's a lot of money for lakes who have really not had any other place to go. They kind of try to just grab funding wherever they can. And one of the things that we've been able to do is our Public Lakes Alliance of New Jersey has brought together a lot of lakes. So like even just within Sussex County, we have Lake Musconetcong involved, we have Swartzwood Lake involved, we have Cranberry Lake involved, all that we meet with regularly, really an advocacy for lakes. And it's been successful, and we're going to, hopefully be able to keep that going further to bring more resources into the, what lakes need. I mean, lakes have a lot of issues they battle, and hopefully we'll get them some resources really across the county that will help. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Kyle to talk about a couple of those issues.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. So as Marty said, I'm Kyle Richter with the Lake Patkong Foundation. At the foundation, one of the things we work on is bringing the community together around Lake Patkong to address some of its issues. And with that is what homeowners around the lake can do to improve stormwater management, which stormwater is one of those big contributors that drive harmful algal blooms. So we have been working on some initiatives for riparian buffers and rain gardens around the lake, and we've seen some, we did a rain garden rebate program a couple years ago, and this year we're really taking an effort for riparian buffers, which is really that last-ditch effort to catch stormwater before it enters the lake from properties surrounding the lake. We also have been finding that Canada geese are a problem around the lake. I'm sure you've heard that around the state as well. So the commission has started a goose management committee that the foundation is a part of, and we're tying that to simple changes homeowners can make around their properties that the geese don't like so that they don't congregate around the lake. One of those is riparian buffers. Geese like to be able to see where they are and feel comfortable. So if you just plant a small area of vegetation, they tend not to land there, and hopefully we can send them maybe to like Pennsylvania, so that's their problem and not our problem around here. So those are some of the homeowner initiatives we're working on. I'm going to turn it back over to Marty quickly for some safety updates.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been able to do is get the New Jersey State Police to actually expand the amount of shifts that they've been putting on Lake Patkong. The Morris County Sheriff's Office has also donated some shifts, so that actually the police presence is actually increased on Lake Patkong, which, during the pandemic, like a lot of parks, the lake got really, really crowded, and the lake's busy to begin with. And, in one of our busy coves in the borough of Hopatcong, Byram Cove, the state police count 400 to 600 boats more than that one cove alone on a weekend. So, it's very good. And one of the things that really started last year, working very well for the borough of Hopatcong, was the New Jersey State Police working directly with the Hopatcong Police on different docks when issues arose and all. And it kind of just calmed things down a little. And knock wood, from the safety standpoint, we didn't have any major problems last year, and we're hoping we can get through another season like that again. With that, I am kicking it back to you.
Yeah. Sorry for the back and forth. But, so another big thing that the foundation works on is education. We believe that if you educate young children and get them involved and caring about our shared environment, they'll take it back to their parents, get them involved, and then, you have that next generation who cares. So we have a floating classroom on Lake Patkong. It's a 40-foot pontoon boat, and we offer field trip programs to local students, and we haven't been able to do that for 2 years, but I'm happy to say it is back this year, and we have over 1,300 students coming out to Patkong State Park to learn about Lake Patkong and lake ecology. I mean, that includes students from Patkong and other Sussex County schools as well from across the state. And they come to the state park, they learn about lake ecology, go out on the boat and do science experiments. We take them for forest ecology. So it's a really great day getting all of these students involved, and it's a great program. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it for the first time myself because I'm new to the foundation. We also build off of that and offer the floating classroom for public cruises in July and August so that anybody can come out and experience Lake Patkong. So we'll be releasing dates soon, but it's usually on May and July and August. And we have a number of other community initiatives coming up. We have our native plant sale, which actually opens up online this Friday with a pickup next Saturday. So planting native plants, which gets back to those riparian buffers I talked about a little earlier. We have the Hudson Farm Walk, which is a fundraiser from the foundation at Hudson Farms, and it actually supports a number of other nonprofits in Patkong as well. A big one we have coming up is the Lake Patkong Block Party, which is a great big event at the state park, and we actually brought with us Lee Moreau, who is going to talk about it in a little bit just after our presentation, so I'll say he knows all of the details. But that's on May 21st. It's a great day. We have a couple other fundraising events. We have our gala. It's the foundation's 10th year this year, which is very exciting that we've been helping to protect Lake Patkong for 10 years and looking to build off of that. We have our Lake Loop coming up in October, and we also have a Trails initiative where we've been hoping to have a Lake Patkong trail that completely goes around the lake. We have the Sussex County side pretty much done, so we're working to do that Morris County side of the lake as well. But hopefully we'll have over 40 miles of trails in the near future that people can come out and recreate on. And then we also do historic preservation. One of the big things we're working on right now in coordination with the Lake Patkong Historical Museum is the fountain at the state park being refurbished and restored again so that's once again functioning. They just submitted a grant to hopefully get that complete. And then I think I'm going to pass it over to Colleen, who will share some of the grants that we've been awarded.
Yes, so as New Jersey's largest lake, we compete very well for some state and federal grants, and recently we've been awarded a few. So I'm just going to quickly go over what those have been. So in March 2020, Lake Patkong was awarded $500,000 for 6 HAB demonstration projects. In Patkong, that included biochar, which is a filter material to replace existing filter material in an aquafilter that manages stormwater in Crescent Cove. And we also installed biochar in Ingram Cove in Patkong on the Sussex County side. In August 2020, the DEP awarded Lake Patkong an additional $206,000 for an internal load study and 4 small watershed projects. So that internal load study just tells us, how much of the nutrients in the lake are from what's existing in the lake and what comes from the watershed. And then in Sussex County and Patkong, we're going to be doing a wetland basin replanting to replant some invasive species with native species and improve the stormwater management within Crescent Cove where that drains to. September 2021, we were awarded a National Fish and Wildlife Foundation grant for $480,000 for stream bank stabilization projects, again, stormwater management within the watershed. In Sussex County, within Patkong, that will be a stormwater conveyance, an upgrade to what is existing there in Witten Park. And then we're hoping that over time that will be a full restoration of that park and access for the public. So that's that one. And in February 2022, we applied for an additional grant for a 319 program. The 2 projects we applied for were actually in Morris County. In Roxbury, we'll be doing a stormwater basin retrofit, and in Jefferson, a large-scale rain garden. And as Marty mentioned, the DEP has recently released $10 million in statewide funding for public lakes. So we're scheduling meetings with the mayors to discuss the potential projects and putting together our proposal. So more to come on that. I'm sure we'll have updates for you, and we'll probably reach out for a letter of support as we typically do. So thank you so much for your continued support of our projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Block party. Do you very, very brief. They've done amazing work. Thanks for all your support. The block party occurs on May 21st, as you've heard, and it is just like Newton Day times 3 or 4. So the intent is to get all the communities around the lake to gather and share resources and some fun, which we have. And it's for all ages. It's very family friendly. It's alcohol free and pet friendly. Dogs only. And we also do some things that matter and that are connected to the mission of the foundation. And one of them is public safety and boater safety. And as you know, there's been a few fatalities on the lake. And so we're going to actually have live demonstrations where young families and kids can be instructed by the Coast Guard Auxiliary and the police departments and the state police and the sheriff's department about how to properly wear your vest, board the boat, and ride the boat until the boat is safely secured. So that's something that's something we're looking forward to, and everybody's all in on that. Another thing that's happening is the New Jersey the Division of Motor Vehicles is actually coming up with their mobile unit, and they're going to focus on boat re-registration, something that's lagged through COVID, and also the purchase of a lot more boats on the lake, and the inability to get into an office just to do kind of routine stuff. So it's really nice to have them come to us as the customer, so to speak, and address that issue. And oh, by the way, that money does cycle back into the lake through something that's been set up by the late Senator Bucco. And then, that boater safety thing, back to that, addresses Christopher's Law, and a lot of people, there's a lot of discussion about, day rentals of patio boats and all that kind of stuff. So it's all intended to do a better job of educating everybody. And the last thing, and everybody's on it already because it's coming very, very soon, we'll have a representative from the executive director, actually, of Clean Communities from New Jersey to come up on the, what do you call it, Bag Up New Jersey, right? No more plastic bags. So we have a lot of fun, but there's also a lot of purpose to the folks gathering, and it's a great opportunity to accomplish all of those many objectives. And when I'm done working for Marty on May 22nd, my other hat is I'm one of the captains on the Miss Lotta dinner cruise boat, and our favorite cruise is the Salute the Veterans cruise. And we take veterans from each of the 4 towns on the boat and divide up the cruises. And Patkong was the first town to do it. They shut down half of River Styx Bridge, loaded it up with the town folks, police, fire, scouts, bands, everything, and all the other towns began to follow. So we have a new boat boss. She was on the boat for the first time, extended the cruises a little bit longer so we could linger longer at places like River Styx Bridge, and also added a dinner cruise that evening for families and friends of the veterans. On the boat, it's very limited. There's 49 seats. There's thousands of veterans. The towns determine who are they going to send. So the families cannot share necessarily that experience on the boat, but it is a very heartwarming salute to the veterans. But that night, if they would like to go on a dinner cruise boat, that one costs money. The one in the morning is free and complimentary, but it allows families to connect with their veterans and celebrate on the lake. And subject to any questions, I just thank you for the support and the interest and all the work that you do to support the foundation for the good of all of us. So thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do any commissioners have any comments for the Lake Patkong Foundation?
I just want to thank you for what you do. I know it's important, especially with the algae bloom. I live on Culver Lake in Frankfurt, and we didn't have that problem like you guys did, but it's nice that you guys are taking care of it before the problem occurs, for sure. So I appreciate all that.
I just want to say thank you. You have a very comprehensive organization and program, and I'm particularly impressed with your floating classroom, the number of students that you're able to serve. We know that we're always trying to pull students away from the digital and into the hands-on and into nature, and it really does hit that objective, so thank you for that.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite programs we do.
So I just wanted to mention briefly, first of all, I think, as you know, I live on Lake Patkong. I've lived on Lake Patkong my whole life, and the work that you guys do is not only important, but it's noticeable. Captain, thank you for all the trips on Miss Lotta as well. I think the best way to summarize your work is actually an experience, and I wish my girlfriend was here Sunday morning, actually. Just a few days ago, my girlfriend and I were having coffee in my backyard on the lake, and there's these 2 older gentlemen drifting in a fishing boat towards me. And they drift, and they say, "Hey, man, do you know anything about this lake?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to believe I do." He says, well, we haven't been here since, 2018. 2019 we had the algae bloom. In 2020 we had the pandemic. In 2021 my boat broke. So I haven't been here. And this place looks amazing. And I'm in Crescent Cove, and that's thanks to a lot of the work going on there in Crescent Cove, the aeration and things like that. But that's an out-of-towner. That's somebody from New York who comes here specifically for this reason with his son, and was thrilled to come back 4 years later and see an improvement, and that is a testament to the work that you guys do. So I know myself here and everybody here at the county level is extremely appreciative and thankful for the work that you're doing, and I'm excited to see you at the block party. Looking forward to it. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Marty. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item 7 on our agenda is our public hearings, in which we have none. Item 8 on our agenda is our first public session from the floor. This public session is for those wishing to make a comment of 3 minutes or less regarding an agenda item. When you arrive to the microphone, we ask that you maintain 6 feet social distance with other attendees, state your name, your municipality, and the agenda topic for the record. We will have another public session from the floor regarding non-agenda items towards the end of our meeting. With that, I'll ask the board if there is a motion to open the floor for public comment.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Yardley moves. Commissioner Fantasia seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries, and the public session from the floor is now open. Is there anybody wishing to make a comment regarding an agenda item? Seeing none, I need a motion to close the floor for public comment.
I'll make the motion.
Commissioner Yardley moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Item 9 on our agenda is our commissioner comments portion, and as always, we'll start to my left with Commissioner Fantasia.
Thank you. I'm going to begin with updates from the Health Department. First, let's talk about the Office of Mosquito Control. 'Tis the season. They have been performing surveillance and treatment of early mosquitoes. So far, we've done 344 inspections in the county, resulting in the collection and identification of 131 larval and 134 adult mosquitoes. There have been 72 treatments performed to control disease vectors to date, including standing water and adult mosquitoes. You can visit our website for more information. There is a dedicated page to the Office of Mosquito Control, and we will be beginning to push out our campaign for education for the public to eliminate standing water and different substances you can use to help reduce the likelihood of being bit and mosquitoes around your home. Next, I'm going to move on to the COVID-19 update by way of vaccinations. The county continues to offer COVID-19 vaccinations for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines. You can have your first, second, third dose, booster, etc. is available at the Health Division Office of Public Health Nursing, 201 Wheatsworth Road in Hamburg on Tuesday, May 3rd from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. You also, if you wish to complete your consent form in advance, you can visit our website. And Public Health Nursing continues to provide homebound vaccinations for those who are not able to come out. Department of Health reports that 189,683 doses of the vaccine have been administered to date. 104,363 Sussex County residents have received at least one vaccine. 93,000 are fully vaccinated. As far as a COVID virus update, the most recent New Jersey Department of Health COVID-19 activity level report has us, the entire state, including our region, coded at yellow, which is a moderate activity level. This is fairly consistent with other states across the nation. For the past week, we've been reporting an average of about 40 cases per day. There is a decreasing number of hospitalizations, which I'll hop to that in just a moment, but just to give you an idea in general, in the county we've reported a total from the start of the pandemic, 35,683 cases. That's about a little over 25% of our total population has experienced COVID. A total of 475 deaths, which is 1.3% of all cases here in the county. So to get back to those hospitalizations, thus far in April, we have 9 hospitalizations, and I can give you a little bit of a track of what that looked like. In March, we had 23, and then before that, I'm sorry, they didn't have the February numbers, but it increased when it was the winter months, and it's going down now. So we went from 23 in March, 9 in April. We do currently have 11 outbreaks in the county, and to remind everyone what an outbreak is, it actually is identified as a spread that happened in the same location. So if multiple people happen to come to one location and they bring it from home, that's not considered an outbreak because it did not originate in that facility or that location. It's considered an outbreak when it's spread within that location. So the county currently reports 11 outbreaks, 1 in one acute care facility, 5 in the long-term care facilities, 1 in a school, 2 in daycares, and 2 in the workplace. People are also asking about variants as they bounce around. According to the most current variant report, we're reporting about 80% of the BA2 Omicron, about 20, just shy of 20% BA1 Omicron. We only now currently have 0.1% came back as Delta. So it looks like Delta was one of the most severe by way of death rate and hospitalization rate, and it seems that that wave has absolutely passed. For more information about your choices, you can visit our website, sussex.nj.us, if you have any questions at all about that. Now, other health clinics, a child health conference and clinic is held on Tuesday, May 10th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Office of Public Health Nursing, and you can call to make an appointment. There's a health check clinic on Tuesday, May 10th from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Office of Public Health Nursing. That clinic offers all different types of vaccines for adults and school-aged children. So again, the Office of Public Health Nursing can provide you with more information. Now, we've also talked about the NJ Seed program. There's a men's health clinic on Wednesday, May 11th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Office of Public Health Nursing, and a women's health clinic on Thursday, May 12th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Office of Public Health Nursing. So again, we continue to reach out into the community with a variety of health services, vaccinations, and screenings for men, women, and children. So please, please visit our website if you have interest in benefiting from any of that. I had the honor and pleasure to judge the 4-H youth competitions. I was one of the judges. They had live presentations. They also had video presentations. I offered myself for whatever was needed, and I got sent a series of video presentations from first graders all the way up through high school. And 4-H here is very important. It really encompassed, it was eye-opening for me because normally when we think of 4-H, we think traditionally of livestock, animals, agriculture, and there were so many other aspects. There was a young boy who discussed the importance of exercise. There were 2 young ladies, one made butter and one did a baking demonstration in the kitchen. There was information about hogs. There was information about how to saddle a horse and ride a horse. And these young people were so well spoken. And some did illustrated talks. They did demonstrations, graphic presentations. I was really blown away. And I hope they asked me to do it again because it was very fun for me. And I'm really proud of the kids. When all was said and done, I think we had 150 entries. And that's done through actually Rutgers, New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station. So it was very good. I'm glad I did it. And I hope next year they invite all the commissioners to be able to do it because you'll enjoy it. It was good. There's a couple other points for me to bring up this evening. Updates. We do have our business-to-business breakfast for the Sussex County Chamber of Commerce. Now that is coming up on Tuesday, May the 10th, and the doors are open to anybody in the business community. They open at 7:30, and it's sponsored this time by Thor Labs. So pre-registration really is required so they can get a head count. So please visit the SussexCountyChamber.org if you would like to participate in the business-to-business breakfast. Next, I have a couple updates out of Trenton. First of all, The Division of Fish and Wildlife is really pushing for bear education. Bears are coming out of their slumber now. We're starting to see some interactions between bears and livestock particularly, so they're really pushing a campaign about how to be aware of your surroundings. Again, that's a huge part of prevention of bear incidents is education of the public. I also believe that a big part is a controlled hunt. We do know that that is not happening currently, but the board continues to ask for further information about that and implore Governor Murphy to direct Environmental Commissioner Sean LaTourette to sign the Comprehensive Black Bear Management Policy, which still sits on his desk. Again, Sussex, Warren, and Hunterdon counties are especially affected by this, so we will keep you posted with anything that comes out as far as that goes. Also, the governor has last week held a press conference for additional gun control laws that are presented. Again, these laws, in my opinion, definitely, again, target legal gun owners and do very, very little to get community guns off the street. I think New Jersey has a very serious problem, and I'm not alone in saying that we are not utilizing current laws that are already in place. New Jersey has 3 primary gun laws. We have unlawful purpose use, unlawful possession by carrying a handgun without a permit, and community gun, and these laws are not being followed through by prosecutors. Prosecutors are pleading down charges like aggravated assault and attempted murder to unlawful possession, and it's allowing criminals back out on the street in much earlier time to again commit violent gun offenses. So again, as that develops, we will keep you absolutely posted. District 24 would like to remind you of the eligibility requirements of the senior freeze property tax reimbursement for seniors. If you're age 65 or older on December 31st, 2020, if you were receiving Social Security disability payments on December 31st, 2020, and also on December 31st, 2021, and you lived in New Jersey continuously and are either a homeowner or a renter, and you owned and lived in your home or leased a site in a mobile home park for a manufactured or mobile home since December 31st, 2017 or earlier, and if you paid all 2020 property taxes by June 1st, 2021, all 2021 property taxes by June 1st, 2022, and your annual income was less than $92,969 in 2020 and less than $94,178 in 2021. With some exceptions, all income must be taken into account, including Social Security and pension. You may be eligible for the senior freeze. So again, please visit District 24. On the web, they have the information that you would need regarding the senior property tax freeze, which is absolutely important for our aging population in order to control the amount they're paying in property taxes on fixed and limited incomes. Now, the last thing I have to bring up this evening is something that had come out of Monmouth County that we were receiving. We're all aware of the hubbub surrounding the new sex education standards that were released by the state of New Jersey and the associated recommended resources that districts were able to adopt. They were not mandatory to adopt, and opponents on both sides of the aisle have come out asking for further information and clarification and an additional review, and also local agencies were also asked to remove any materials that they felt were not age appropriate in this interim time while the review is happening. Our neighbors to the south, Monmouth County, created a resolution authorizing the creation of a Parents' Bill of Rights concerning the protection and education of our children. And I wanted to bring this to the board's attention, explain to you what Monmouth County is doing, read to you the resolution, and again, put it forth so that perhaps at our next meeting we can have something prepared how we may like to reach out to the community and perhaps assist in the effort the same way and just gathering family feedback. So Monmouth County has written, whereas recent guidelines provided by the New Jersey Department of Education, legislation enacted by the New Jersey Legislature and signed into law by Governor Murphy, and the associated sample curricula regarding the teaching of a highly sensitive curricula to our young children, particularly grades K to 2, is both disturbing and concerning to the parents and citizens here in Monmouth County and throughout the state of New Jersey. And whereas all commissioners have been contacted by Monmouth County residents related to this sensitive issue, I don't know about you, but I've been contacted more times than I can count since this had come out. Whereas the Department of Education's guidelines were promulgated and the legislation was passed and signed into law in 2020 and 2021 as applicable during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. When New Jersey residents were sheltering in place, there was not adequate opportunity for public comment, and parents did not have input into this disturbing and highly sensitive curricula that will be taught to our young children. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Monmouth is hereby calling on Governor Murphy, the New Jersey Legislature, and the Department of Education to return the decisions to local school boards regarding such highly sensitive curricula for our young children. And whereas the county also desires to work with our parents, community leaders, and professionals to develop the framework for a Parents' Bill of Rights to use as a model for our county schools as well as our local school districts that will, among other things, protect our children, notify our parents of the curricula being taught to their children and our schools, and allow them to make their own decisions regarding their child's education and exposure to sensitive information. And whereas the public should have an opportunity to be heard on this issue of curricula being taught to grades K to 2, which is so significantly impacts the family unit. So therefore, be it resolved that the Board of the County Commissioners of the County of Monmouth as follows. They demand that Governor Murphy, the New Jersey State Legislature, and the Department of Ed ban such highly sensitive curricula for our young children that was developed out of the aforesaid guidelines, legislation, and curricula. The administrator is directed to schedule a public forum at a convenient location as soon as possible to afford Monmouth County residents an opportunity to be heard related to deciding what young children should be taught in schools. And the county commissioner director, county administrator, and county council are each authorized and directed to work with our parents, community leaders, and professionals to develop the framework for a Parents' Bill of Rights to use as a model for our county schools as well as local school districts that will, among other things, protect our children, notify parents of the curricula being taught to their children in our schools, and allow them to make their own decisions regarding their child's education and exposure to sensitive information. And then it goes on and so forth to where this was sent out. It was sent to the League of Municipalities. All of us obviously received this via email, and mayors and council members in the towns in Monmouth County. I bring that to your attention. I do want to make just a clarification. If you're not 100% aware, or even just for the general public, whenever the New Jersey Board of Education, when they release any revised standards, New Jersey operates under learning standards. There's standards, and there are goals that are supposed to be taught, or content that's supposed to be mastered by the end of different grade level bands, sometimes at the end of grade levels if it's depending upon the content. New Jersey typically does not give a specific curriculum, what is actually taught, the books, the materials, the lessons. That's not something that the state provides. The state provides the learning standards and what the expectations are as per the Department of Education. They may release samples that you may use. They may release resources that you may use. But typically, these decisions for actual resources, books, lessons, those are left up to local boards of education and local school administrators work together. Usually the school administration, a team of educators, puts together what they would like, shares it with the board for approval. So just know that there is local control that is available if sample materials are not up to what your specific local district feels is appropriate. However, what is the non-negotiable that comes out of the state once it is passed are the actual learning standards, and that is something to be bucked against. Because if by the end of grade 2, by the end of grade 5, by the end of grade 8, parents feel that those topics are not appropriate, that is where there needs to be an intervention, because local school boards are bound, again, once those standards are approved by the Department of Education, you are bound in a public school that receives public funds to meet those standards. So I just wanted to kind of clarify that. There is a bit of confusion. People say, oh, why do we have to use this video, or such and such was offensive? I'm not just talking about the sexual education or physical education curriculum. I'm talking about in general. So know that the standards really are the root cause of concern, And the extra ancillary materials, they really are ancillary, and that is up to your local school board as to what materials are used to teach any curriculum of any subject. Because that's a question I've been asked a lot. Or is this school, somebody calls me from Hamburg, is Hamburg school using this specific website to teach? No. First of all, it's not even implemented as of right now. Not yet, not until next school year. So I would like the board to think about what we might like to do to help facilitate. I know that we actually, when we talk about schools, the Sussex County Technical School is under our purview by way of funding, but they do have their independent board. But I think that, any help that we can certainly put together, any kind of structure, a centralized structure to gather parent feedback, I think that's a really good idea that Monmouth County had to help assist the local school boards. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fantasia. And I did just want to make you aware that I did receive the Monmouth County resolution. I forwarded it to council and asked for them to prepare a resolution applicable for Sussex County for us to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to Commissioner Yardley.
Thank you. I have a couple items. The Office of Public Health Nursing, Division of Health, was recognized as a success story from the grant that we have strengthening its homeland COVID vaccination model. The model was developed when COVID-19 vaccines became available and the need to vaccinate a vulnerable population, also homebound, was identified. The program continues today, providing not only first doses but boosters and to homebound populations. So if you have someone that needs a service, or a neighbor or somebody, give them this information, and they can call Public Health Nursing at 973-579-0570, extension 1211. The Senior Services Center for Lifelong Learning at Sussex County Community College in person presents a history series, Lifelong Learning. It's a free history presentation on how did the Civil War really start on Friday, April 29th at 3 p.m. at Sussex County Community College at the Outdoor Pavilion. I hope the weather is better than it is today. Caregiver Support, Senior Services Caregiver Support Group will meet via Zoom at 2 to 3 p.m. on Friday, May 6th, and the group helps to reduce negative effects of stress and increase the physical activity and psychological well-being of a caregiver. I did attend the Veterans Lunch. We had lunch for about 100 veterans at Perona Farms. It was very well attended. About 100 veterans were there. It was in conjunction between our Senior Services Veteran Program and Catholic Charities that we partnership with. There's a Crime Stoppers dinner that will be coming in May. Crime Stoppers is one of those things that gives money anonymously for tips for those people wanted or commit crimes. You can call in and say there's somebody doing something illegal, and if those people are arrested and convicted, you do get funding for that. I also was at and spoke at the 24th annual Clothesline Project, where Daisy and Ginny's House, those are two agencies that deal with sexual abuse, which can be physical or mental, and child abuse within our community. And it's something that we have a very active group, and it was very refreshing to hear some of the positive stories how people have been abused and have come through that and succeeded in life. So I appreciated going there and reading the resolutions to both those groups. On a different note, I was reading the newspaper, and I think I read the newspaper a while back, and I read off a bunch of headlines, and then where it had to do with the nursing homes and who's going to come in and help us in the state and the feds. And as it turns out, the feds even said, well, we're going to give them another chance. So there was another article in the paper by Senate President Nick Scuttori. Correct? Scuttori? Okay. I don't want to mispronounce that name. And Senate President Joe Vitale, chair of the Senate Health Committee. So they wanted everyone to know that they haven't forgotten the residents that work in New Jersey nursing homes they have not been forgotten. And so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but a couple paragraphs. And they said, 2 years ago we had the first case, and there's lessons to be learned that should teach us how to be better prepared, and most importantly, how to better protect our residents. In 2014, there was an event called H1N1. They thought that would be worldwide. The federal government put in millions, if not billions, of dollars for preventative measures. State Health Department, because I worked at that time, was very well prepared, had a great staff that could do the work. What happened? I don't know at this point, but it goes on to say, especially true for our most residents, that nursing homes and veterans homes. Sadly, none experience greater consequence than long-term health care facilities. And then he went on to talk about Menlo Park, Paramus Veterans. Okay, Menlo Park. I don't see Sussex County in there. So I guess we didn't have much going on, according to the Senate President. And then they asked for the resignation of Adjutant General and replacement of administrators at veterans homes. Still, we don't see anything happening in the private sector. And then it goes on to say the federal Department of Justice and the state Attorney General are investigating, and now is not the time that they should have hearings. And they look forward to finding and looking at those reviews and whatever they find. Well, I have to tell you, if anybody watches television and you watch the news and you have somewhere, some legislative body is investigating somebody that is being investigated by the federal government, especially by the FBI. There may be hearings. The federal government is really good at this. So I just had a couple of questions. If they're being investigated, why can't a simple thing, something you can get if you have a septic system in the county, you can go online and get reports on that and look at the inspection. Why can't the Senate President give us the reports of the inspections at the nursing homes in Sussex County? Why are they being held up? And why do we have to go to court over this? Were they done or weren't they done? Yes or no? And can we have a copy of it? And yet, we have to Oprah that. I think investigate the failure of the state to act when they received 25 phone calls, emails. People were complaining. Those are the things that at least the state should be looking at. And if you read the paper, what happened with the state health department and who was running the show? Was the governor on his own? Or did all of these decisions come from the state health department? Because the newspaper says there was internal problems, lack of communication, decisions being made without staff even knowing about them. So I take umbrage to what the Senate President has written to the paper, and I hope the paper will maybe ask some questions as to why the simple things they can't even give us. And the election is over, the governor's back in there. It's about time you give the information. That's in my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Yardley. We'll move to Deputy Director Carney.
Thank you, Director. And I have a lot. Be quick, though. I'll read fast. It's been 3 weeks, so we have a lot of construction, which I love to hear about. We'll start with engineering and planning. Trails Grant Program Project Update Notice, which includes summary information on the results of the 2021 grant solicitation. Sussex County Trails Grant Program provides small grants for construction, rehabilitation, restoration, and maintenance of publicly owned shared use trails. Eligible applicants included the 24 municipalities, the county, non-for-profits with the support of the municipality. The maximum individual award was established at $5,000 in required matching funds or matching contribution. The Open Space Advisory Committee received and reviewed applications and now is recommending Commissioner consideration for awarding of 8 grants under the first round program. The program award for 8 grants totals $37,500, which would be funded from the Sussex County Farmland Preservation, Recreation, and Open Space Trust Fund. The individual grants, if awarded by the Commissioners, will be managed by the Division of Planning. Resolution of award is expected to be in our meeting, whether it be the next one or the one after that in May. Update for our Sussex County Guide Rail program. Guide rail work along County Route 625, aka Halsey Road, in the vicinity of bridges H16 and H17, twin bridges, is complete. Let's see, replacement of Bridge Q06. This is carrying Main Street over the Walk Hill River in Sparta Township. This bridge will be replaced with a widened structure that incorporates sidewalks in both directions. The contract award was awarded to State Line Construction out of Newark, and that was a bid amount of $1.444 million. Contract award is construction schedule is January 13th. I'm sorry. The award was given out on the 13th of 2021. Construction duration, 120 working days from closure. Start date. Construction will require a full closure of Main Street at the bridge with sign detour. Pedestrian access will be maintained throughout the construction. So you'll be able to walk over there if you're privy to that. Some highlights of the recent NJTPA and New Jersey Transit activities. That's New Jersey Transportation Planning Authority, which I sit on. In Sussex County, Patkong Borough received an award in amount of $857,000 to fund Durbin and Flora Avenue's Safety Improvement Project, Phase 2. Also with New Jersey Transit, New Jersey Transit Board of Directors advanced a project to restore rail service to Sussex County along the Lackawanna Cutoff with the approval of a contract to rehabilitate the Roseville Tunnel. The rehabilitation of Roseville Tunnel is a crucial element in restoring passenger rail service from Port Morris to a new proposed station in Andover. The contract with Schiavone Construction out of Sea Caucus. This includes a final design, construction, and commissioning of Roseville Tunnel rehab project. This job is $32.5 million and is part of the New Jersey Transit larger Lackawanna Cutoff Restoration Project. The Lackawanna Cutoff Restoration Project focuses on the planned restoration of passenger rail service on the east end of the Lackawanna Cutoff between Port Morris and Andover, building a new rail station, again in Andover, and replacing approximately 7 miles of track. As part of the project, the Roseville Tunnel, which is Rock Tunnel located near Roseville Road in Byram Township, will be rehabilitated. The Lackawanna Cutoff Restoration Project from Port Morris to Andover is anticipated to be completed in late 2026. So this is a long time coming. Actually, I built that Roseville Bridge probably 8 years ago thinking that this would come sooner. So finally, it's here. And I think it'll be good for commuters. I know driving to the city is not always fun, especially with tolls, which are close to $20 right now, and gas. So this will be a nice way to get to the city if you like to go to the city. Quick note, there is a job, a rockfall mitigation in Hardiston on Route 23 and Route 94. There's some tree clearing, rock excavation to be recut the slope with enlarged catchment area, retaining walls, climbing lane, curb replacement, mill and overlay of the road. So if you travel those routes, be prepared. That's it for my planning and engineering. I did meet with the Chamber of Commerce. They had a luncheon last Friday, 2 Fridays ago. Herb was with me. They asked for, we went over Sussex County Day, so basically it was a meeting for Sussex County Day to go over what they're looking for. Number one from us and volunteers. They are looking for volunteers. If there's anybody out in the public that would like to volunteer, you could get in touch with Tammy Horsfield and volunteer. But I suggested we have a table. I guess in the past, the commissioners had a table, I guess before my time. So again, it'd be nice to have a table there that people could come up and talk to us, kind of like we do at the fair. They are also looking for our agencies to have a table. Maybe that's something we could talk to either Greg or Diana about. Just put an email out to our different agencies to get them there as well. The more the merrier. Sussex County was a great day last year. It was my first time going last year. Actually, I worked the tent for a bit, so really nice event. So she's looking for some help with that. What else? I just want to thank you, Dawn, for bringing up that resolution with Monmouth County, because people sometimes forget, or maybe they just don't know, coming from a committee in Frankfurt, being the mayor and a committeeman over there, a lot of times people come in, the residents come in and think that we're the ones who either set the curriculum or set their taxes, and obviously they're wrong, and people really need to watch the Board of Eds in all their towns, because they're getting away with a lot. I think now more than ever is the time that we need to start taking those boards back. What's going on in these schools is ludicrous. So I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to passing that resolution ASAP. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Deputy Director Carney, and thank you to all who are joining us this evening. I'll keep my report brief this evening, and I just wanted to touch on something you said briefly, which was the Lackawanna cutoff and the expansion of that and how important that is to Sussex County and to its commuters and to its residents. And I specifically wanted to thank LD24, Senator Oroho, Assemblyman Wirtz, and Assemblyman Space, who is here, for your efforts on that. That means a ton to Sussex County, truly and honestly. So I'm really excited about the impact it's going to have long term. Speaking of meetings, I was in a meeting, and it was a good meeting last week with Commissioner Carney regarding the American Rescue Plan and our efforts in planning, which continue to progress very well. One item we've discussed here previously, and I keep mentioning it because I'm excited and I think it's really important, is small business assistance, which we're extremely fortunate to have an excellent Sussex County Chamber of Commerce here, who I've asked to help Sussex County develop our own small business assistance program. And Tammy, who's just fantastic, was gracious enough to do so, and we have a meeting scheduled next week, which I'm really, really excited for. The idea of Sussex County having its own small business assistance program of any kind 2 years ago was a fantasy. And today, to see it become really on the precipice of becoming a reality, I know will benefit our businesses, I know will benefit our residents, and it's also been a long time coming to get help and support to our business community who so desperately need it. Speaking of the Sussex County Chamber of Commerce, I wanted to just pass along that they are extending the deadline to submit all of its annual scholarship applications. The new deadline is Friday, May 13th at 4 p.m., so if you have any students in your life, please encourage them to apply. The application and information about eligibility can be found at sussexcountychamber.org. I also had the chance to speak with Dr. Connolly from this very college, Sussex County Community College. Open house is scheduled for Saturday, April 30th, and if you know anyone interested in visiting this beautiful campus, Sussex County's Community College Open House has really evolved to include information sessions about various topics and various buildings, providing prospective students with a more extensive experience on campus as they explore their college options. I also wanted to mention tonight, right about 9 minutes ago, is also the annual Military Appreciation Baseball game, which was postponed from last night. Sussex County Community College will face Orange County Community College at Skyland Stadium, and Alyssa Fitzwater, a Sussex County student and spouse of a local veteran, will throw out the first pitch, and donations are being accepted for Sussex County Community College's Student Veterans Fund at this really cool game and really cool tradition, so we wish them luck. Finally, the Sussex County Community College Foundation office will open its online scholarship application portal. Students will be able to apply for foundation scholarships between May 1st and June 30th for the fall 2022 and September 2023 academic year. Scholarships will exceed $200,000, yes, $200,000 this year, So again, if you have any students in your life, particularly those here or interested in being a student here, please let them know to be on the lookout for that. I also just wanted to quickly mention, if you can believe it, Commencement is coming up Wednesday, May 18th, and I'm really excited and looking forward to being their commencement speaker this year for Sussex County Community College, and congratulating all of their graduates who I'm sure are not thinking about that right now. They're going through finals right now, so one thing at a time. This afternoon, I had the opportunity to meet the mayor and council members from Patkong to discuss their local redevelopment efforts and how we at the county can be of any assistance. Patkong, like many other towns in Sussex County, are planning for the future with growth and affordability top of mind, which was very encouraging to see firsthand. Sussex County is attracting new residents, it's attracting new developments, it's attracting new opportunities. It's had an impact on previous budgets here as well in a positive way, and it's a trend that I do truly just believe is just starting. And finally, on a lighter note, because I thought it just is awesome, May the 4th be with you is coming to the Sussex Wantage Library, and members of the 501st Star Wars Legion will be at the Sussex Wantage Library Amphitheater on May 4th from 5 to 7 p.m. to celebrate Star Wars Day with family photo ops. There's no registration required, and more info for this super cool event can be found at sussexcountylibrary.org. So rejoice, all Star Wars nerds out there like me. With that, I'm going to conclude my report, and we'll move on from our commissioner comments and move to item 10 on our agenda, which is the approval of our consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt our consent agenda consisting of items A through J?
So moved.
Commissioner Fantasia moves items A through J. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Item 11 on our agenda is the approval of our minutes for our regular and executive session meetings on April 6th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting and executive session from April 6th?
Still move.
Commissioner Carney moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Yardley seconds. Any discussion?
I'll be abstaining.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Commissioner Fantasia abstains. Item carries. Item 12 on our agenda is appointments and/or resignations, in which we have none. Item 13 on our agenda consists of items A through J. Just like to remind you that item K has been tabled to our next meeting. Is there a motion to adopt resolutions A through J?
I'll make it.
Commissioner Yardley moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. Terry, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Commissioner Fantasia?
Yes.
Director Fasano?
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Item carries. Item 14 on our agenda is the award of contract change orders and bids. The Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex has reviewed the award of contract change orders and bids consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. Do we have a motion to adopt Resolution A?
Still move.
Commissioner Carney moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Fantasia seconds. Any discussion? Terry, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Commissioner Fantasia?
Yes.
Yes.
Director Fasano?
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Item carries. Item 15 on our agenda is our bills list, both for April 13th and April 27th. I did just want to make a note that our bills lists were posted Friday on the county website with all of our other meeting documents. Do we have a motion to pay the bills lists?
So moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Fantasia moves. Commissioner Yardley seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. Terry, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Commissioner Fantasia?
Yes.
Director Fasano?
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Item carries. Our next item is our personnel agenda. of April 27th, 2022. I'd like to remind the board that we did table the first item there on that personnel agenda. Do we have a resolution to adopt the personnel agenda?
Need a motion?
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Yardley, do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none. Terry, can you please call the roll?
Commissioner Carney?
Yes.
Commissioner Fantasia?
Yes.
Director Fasano?
Yes.
Commissioner Yardley?
Yes.
Item carries. We'll move to item 17. That's our administrative report, and I'll call up our county administrator, Mr. Gregory Poff.
Thank you, Director. As Commissioner Carney had mentioned, the Open Space Advisory Committee has received and reviewed the applications for the new County Trails Grant Program, and as recommending for the Commissioner's consideration award of those 8 grants under the first round. The Division of Planning is working with special counsel to finalize the various grant agreements and other associated documents that will be required for the commissioners to authorize those grant awards. So you can expect that in the coming weeks once those documents have been finalized. As Commissioner Fantasia had mentioned, the Office of Public Health Nursing is continuing to hold a number of clinics, including vaccination clinics in both Hardiston as well as Branchville during the month of May. Pfizer will be offered at the clinic in Branchville in cooperation with Sparta Pharmacy, and the Moderna and J&J is available at the Health Division in Hardiston. For specifics of those clinics, as well as the others mentioned, that information is available at the county's website at sussex.nj.us. And finally, from the Division of Information Technology, the division is taking advantage of the cybersecurity services that are being provided by Statewide Insurance Fund through Cowbell Cyber. The IT staff is currently engaged in performing a risk rating and security insight review with the Cowbell Cyber risk engineering team, and we'll have more to come on that once that review is completed. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Greg. Item 18 on our agenda is our County Council report. Katie, do you have anything for us this evening?
I do not, Director.
Item 19 on our agenda is any unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? Item 20 on our agenda is new business. Do we have any new business? Okay, moving on. Item 21 on our agenda is our second and final public session from the floor, and this public session is for those wishing to make general comments of 3 minutes or less on non-agenda topics. We ask that when you line up at the microphone to please maintain a 6 feet social distance with other attendees, and when you arrive, state your name and municipality for the record. Is there a motion to open the floor for public comment?
So moved.
Commissioner Fantasia moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries, and the floor is now open for public session. Is there anybody wishing to make a public comment tonight? Come right on up here to the microphone, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Marie Eisel. I'm president of Conscious Health Network. It's a two-division company. Our divisions are Conscious Care Systems and IWell. IWell stands for Integrative Wellness and Lifestyle Systems. The reason I'm here tonight is primarily to bring your attention to the fact that there may be some significant solutions to the issues surrounding not only the Woodlands situation, formerly Andover Nursing, but also the many other facilities around the state and around the country. We provide services to dramatically improve care delivery for residents and their caregivers while significantly reducing the costs. Now, we had intended to do a pilot locally, quietly, and get our federal outcomes from that. The nursing homes are the second most regulated industry in the world, second only to nuclear. You wouldn't know that from going into one, though, would you? So there's a lot of reasons for that. So what we would like to do is, because I know we have very little time, so we are looking to have consultation with the parties that are most at play with the Andover situation. We'd like to do a pilot there, although it's a very public arena and could be fraught with more challenges than in a smaller facility where we're getting our outcomes and setting up the rollout for the company. But this situation is egregious. We've railed against this particular facility for many years. I've met with the former administrator.
1 minute.
1 minute. And they were not interested. They said they had no money at the time. That's the rallying cry for all of these providers, nursing home providers, no money. Chronically underfunded Medicaid, that is ridiculous. It costs around $150,000 a year now to keep somebody in a warehouse in New York and New Jersey. Our systems, this is one of our many PowerPoints, conscious care systems, engineering elder care. We have massive amount of information related to business plans, financials, implementation plans. We're ready to go. So if anyone can help us get to the particular people who are involved in this situation, we can help, and we can help fast. Right now, I'd like to be in that facility rallying the support of the CNAs, the nurses' aides who do most of the work, and it needs to be done.
Understood. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight and sharing that with us. And I know we have your contact info, and I'll make sure that we do connect with you after this meeting.
I did send you 2 emails. One is introductory and one is related to the ask.
You got it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You have it?
Are there any other public comments this evening? Seeing none, I need a motion to close the floor for public comment and to return to regular business.
So moved.
Commissioner Fantasia moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Carney seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Motion carries. Item 22 on our agenda is our reminders, and as always, we'd like to remind you to check our county website often. That's sussex.nj.us for meeting schedules and up-to-the-minute updates. And for item 23, I'll ask Terry to please read the executive session resolution.
Whereas the subject matters about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting. By resolution, the Board of County Commissioners, as an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B, and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of County Commissioners to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of the County of Sussex, in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12B and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into an executive session from which the public shall be excluded, and be it further resolved that the general nature of the subjects to be discussed relate to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12B as number 7, matters relating to litigation negotiations in the attorney-client privilege, the American Rescue Plan Act, PBA 138 Sheriff's Unit, and attorney-client communication. Item number 8, matters relating to employment relationship, county administrator, confidential aid. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination that Sussex County Board of County Commissioners, or provided by law that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality, and be it further resolved that upon completion of the business for which the board has entered into the executive session, the board may reconvene and resume its meeting open to the public. And it be it further resolved that the board may take formal action after returning from executive session, except may. I'm just going to leave it at that, folks. May.
Thank you, Terry. I need a motion to adopt the executive session resolution and enter into executive session.
Still moved.
Commissioner Carney moves. Is there a second?
Second?